Hi everyone, back with a layout again today. I'm using a lot of products from the new Occasions catalogue and the Celebration catalogue that starts on the 6th of January. So I was very excited about all these new products. I just love them. So I wanted to scrap these two photos of myself and my son because they're super sweet. So I absolutely adore the paper that's available in the Celebration this year. It's Best Year Ever paper, it's called. It is so super sweet. I absolutely love it. And I think I might grab a couple of packets if I spend enough money this year. So I just wanted to use this paper as my background. So it's quite bold as a background, but I've only got two little photos, so that's okay. I thought I'd balance that out. So I just wanted to put it on a base of Whisper White, but it needed a bit of something. So I grabbed out my pack of neutral coordination cardstock that I got off the clearance rack, which I believe is still available and it's super cheap. So I grabbed out a soft suede out of that because that matches these papers. So it's Calypso Coral, Coastal Cabana, Crushed Curry, Sahara Sand, Soft Suede and Whisper White. That matches this paper. So I went with that. And then also you can get in Celebration the ribbon and buttons pack that actually matches this paper. So you get Coastal Cabana, Crushed Curry and Calypso Coral in the ribbon and the buttons. So super easy to have matching embellishments. So I decided that I just inked the edges. So I just inked it with a bit of soft suede, I think it was. Just around the edges just to meld it all together. And so I just stuck it all down. And I wanted to give a little bit of texture to the layout because I knew I wasn't going to use too many embellishments. I didn't want to detract from those two little photos. So I thought I'd go for some nice bright full-on pattern paper as well as a bit of texture. So the best way to do that and the easiest way is to sew on it. So my sewing machine basically gets used for scrapbooking and not for much else. So that I'm okay with that. It's always there if I ever think that I might actually start sewing something. But it does get used on my layouts. So all I did was just ran just a straight stitch all around the inside of the square block and then ran it twice across the ribbon that I've put on there. And it just gave a little bit of texture. So I got a little bit of a close up there. I hope you can see it. It's hard to see from a distance, but in real life when you're looking at it you can see it. Even when it's behind the page protector you can still see that it's got that texture even without feeling it. So it's just a quick and easy way to add a lot of texture without adding a lot onto your paper. Okay, so I knew I wanted my two photos up on that the line that I've got there with my pattern paper, and I knew I wanted to use the new butterfly thinlits. So this is in the Occasions catalogue, and they're the butterfly thinlit dies. Surprise, surprise. So I thought, oh, will I use the big one or the smaller one? And I thought, hell, why not just use both? So I just grabbed out some different patterns from that same the Best Year Ever paper pack and just cut out one of each of the butterflies. And if you don't know already, a great tip is to use some wax paper in between your paper and the die. And it just makes everything pop out so easy. Because this is quite intricate dies, sometimes it can be a bit hard to get it out without ripping because it's very fragile. But you put that wax paper in and they slip out so easy. So I really love how the two butterflies just worked perfectly there at the top of my photos. I fell in love with this instantly. Which is a bit sad, but I just love it when it happens. That's the joys of scrapbooking. Okay, so I wanted to have Love You as my title, and I've got the new Hello You Thinlit dies, which is perfect to use the word you because you get you, happy, hello, and thanks. So I cut that out in that Calypso Coral pink paper that's at the top of my layout there. And when I put it down, you could it sort of got lost because it's quite a thin font. It kind of got a little bit lost. So I thought about it, and then I grabbed some more of that soft suede coordinations cardstock and cut out another one of them, and decided that I would use that just off center of it just slightly to give it a bit of a shadow, and it just made it so it's not outlined, it's kind of just, yeah, like a shadow effect, and it just makes it stand out just a little bit more. So I did think about just using the soft suede, but it was a bit too dark, and I thought, no, I'll just do that. Okay, now this is super, super cute. This is the new alphabet mold, alphanumeric mold for the Simply Pressed clay, and it's super cute. If you haven't seen it before, in the annual catalogue, there's the Simply Pressed clay, and there's two different molds. There's buttons and there's flowers. And in the new occasions catalogue, they've got this great new alphanumeric mold. So it's the same. You just put the clay in and then you let it dry. It's as simple as that. So you get all the letters and all the numbers, and you also get a heart and a star and an arrow and some punctuation. So super duper cute. So I did those and I let them dry, and I came back. So this layout I did over 2 days because I just didn't have enough time. So, I chucked the buttons on there. So that's the buttons that match the ribbon. So you get the buttons and the ribbon. That's one of the things you can choose from Celebration. So they're really super cute. Now to colour those, the letters there from the Simply Pressed clay. So once they're dry, you just run it over with an ink pad. You can run it, so I use my markers, but you can just press it into an ink pad, or doesn't really matter. You can actually colour the clay with ink before you put it into the mold, so it's up to you. You get different sort of effects doing it different ways. But I didn't know which colour I was going to use until I had it on my layout, so I just coloured them after. So as you can see there, I coloured in with my Crushed Curry marker. So I went away and coloured them in and just put them aside to dry for a little bit. And I also did a little heart out of the pressed clay as well, and I coloured that with Calypso Coral. So here I am. I'm just sticking that top layer of you onto the bottom layer. So I just use the multi-purpose liquid glue, and you just sort of do a few dots all around and just stick it on, and it's just slightly off center, and you can see it really stands out a lot more now on that layout. So now I was kind of happy with where everything was, and I just needed to stick it all down. So this is the hardest part, once you've got it sitting there nicely exactly how you want it, and then having to take it all up to stick down the bottom layer. So yeah, I took a photo of it just on my phone just in case I stuffed it up, but I just lifted those photos off and just put a piece of double-sided tape straight over the yellow butterfly where those photos are going to go over, because I'm not going to see that, that's fine, and just put a little marker there for where the blue butterfly was, and then I just put a little bit of that multi-purpose glue just on the bottom of the blue butterfly, so you can see the top is still sticking up a bit, and then the same for the yellow. I went in and just put a little bit under the bottom of the wings there. Okay, so I sanded the edges of my photos, and I felt like it just needed a matte. It needed that little bit of something extra. I don't always put a matte on my photos. I used to 10 years ago. I used to matte everything, but I don't now, but just when I feel like it actually needs it. So I just grabbed that soft suede cardstock again and just gave it a really thin matte just to make those photos pop. So yeah, I'm really glad I got that packet of Neutrals cardstock. So the sale's on till the 5th. I think I might add another packet in my next order before then, because you can never have enough. And it's so cheap. It's so good. Okay, so I just stuck those down, and I also stuck down my letters. So I'm pretty sure I did my love next. Yep, so here they are. They were sitting over there drying. And I just used that multi-purpose liquid glue again. It's great. It sticks down and it doesn't move. You can use any glue that you like. Crystal Effects would work. The cheapo glues are probably not going to stick that down for very long. So if you want it to stay, make sure you use a glue that you know is pretty strong and will stick. The other thing with the multi-purpose liquid glue is that it gives you a few seconds to put it in place too. So if you put it down and it's not quite right, you've got those couple of seconds just to move it, where some other glue, you put it down and it's stuck. And if you try to take it up, it will rip. So I really love this this glue. So it's always handy to have a few bottles running around. Okay, so that's the little hearts. I coloured it Calypso Coral, so it's just made out of the clay as well. So I just put that down the bottom, and then I went to put my buttons on, and I really wanted them actually stitched on, or the look of them stitched on. So I grabbed out my linen thread, which I love and I use on everything. So basically I just poked the 4 holes through the button through, and just threaded one diagonal across, and just stuck it down with some tape on the back, and then got another piece of thread and did the other diagonal. Because it's pretty thick, you can't put it on a needle, but it's pretty strong enough that you can just poke it through, and the holes in these buttons are big enough that it was easy to just put it through. It was a little bit fiddly and it took me a few minutes, so I've cut some of this out. It's like, here's one I prepared earlier. The buttons are done because it did take a little while, but the end effect is really good. So you can barely notice it when you're looking at the layout, but when you actually do look at the details, you can see that it looks finished. Okay, so I grabbed out the yellow epoxy dots from the Seasonal Snapshot Project Life accessory pack. So that's in the holiday catalogue that ends very soon on the 5th. But I had some of these epoxy stickers left, and I thought that'd be perfect. And then I also grabbed out the in colour sequin assortment. So I grabbed out some of the Coastal Cabana sequins and the hearts, and just popped some of them around my embellishment points there. Yeah, and that just finished it off. So I just stuck those down, the sequins down with my Crystal Effects. And it's just a super cute layout. I'm so in love with this layout. I think it's because I love the subject, but then just everything just fell together, and I love those butterflies behind the photos. And yeah, can't wait to use more of these products from the new catalogues. You can check out all my details at scrapronnie.com. If you're in Australia and would like some of these catalogues, just send me an email. My details are on my blog. And thank you for joining me. Check back onto my YouTube channel whenever you can. I'll have more layouts for you to look at. So thanks for joining me.